to come and engage on this very important subject of the CCTV system, which we think is a force multiplier in law enforcement. That's why it's intimate to government and us, the docket handlers, who are charged with the day-to-day enforcement of the law. Indeed, you invited us to appear before this committee. We didn't make it last week, but you gave us a second chance. And I'm here with the police team and the leadership to give our side of our perspective about this matter. With your permission, Chair, I'll read through the presentation which speaks to the issues you raised, and then we'll have time to discuss with the team I have and the members of the committee. I hope everyone has a copy of the paper, and I'll beg to run through the paper. I'll start with the background. The National CCTV System project was conceived in 2017 as a measure of enhancing the detection and prevention of crime. The implementation started in 2018, specifically 8th May of that year, with phase 1 that covered Kampala Metropolitan Policing Area and phase 2 that covered all municipalities, highways, and major towns. The 2 phases were fully implemented. Phase 3 is yet to commence. Introduction. The Uganda Police Force is yet to begin. There's a typo there. We haven't yet begun to implement CCTV phase 3 after completing phase 1 and 2. This phase addresses remaining gaps in the Kampala metropolitan area and other regions, and would focus on improving system operations, maintenance, and upgrading existing CCTV infrastructure. During oversight visits, the committee noted concerns about malfunctioning cameras that hinder crime prevention. This inquiry evaluates the performance of phase 1 and 2 and examines the implementation progress and challenges of phase 3. Response. The cameras are operating normally with performance average ranging between 85% to 95%. Some districts achieve 100%. The implementation of phase 3 has not commenced because funds have not been secured. Issues for phase 1 and 2. Financial performance, approved budget and supplementary appropriation. The committee requires a detailed breakdown of the approved budget for phase 1 and 2, including any supplementary appropriations provided to meet unforeseen costs. Our response, Chair and honorable members, is that the budget appropriation was as follows. A, phase 1 was budgeted at USD 82756,809.1, and phase 2 was budgeted at USD 37520,876.83. There was no supplementary budget provided during implementation. 2, related budget and warrants. The committee seeks to assess whether the allocated budget was released in full and whether the release of funds was timely. This includes an analysis of budget warrants issued for implementation of phase 1 and 2. Our response is that the project was facilitated using a loan. Funds were always available for timely execution of the project. That is why the project was implemented in the exact planned timelines. Secondly, budget expenditure. Regarding budget expenditure, a report on the actual expenditure incurred for the implementation of these phases is required. This includes details on whether funds were spent efficiently with clear justification for any variations. The response is that all the funds were clearly spent efficiently and there was no variations from original budget. This was because the designs were well done and risks assessed properly. The minor risks that occurred had no implication on the budget. Areas and districts implemented. The committee requests a comprehensive list of the areas and districts where CCTV systems were deployed under phase 1 and 2, and this should highlight whether the key areas prone to crime were covered, as well as any areas left unaddressed. CCTV system cameras covered all the KMP 19 policing divisions for phase 1 and all municipalities, including Masaka, Mbarara, Ntungamo, Kabale, Chisoro, Rukunjiri, Bushenyi, Kasese, Fort Portal, Mubende, Mitiana, Hoima, Masindi, Arua, Gulu, Kitgum, Lira, Soroti, Moroto, Mbale, Kapchora, Tororo, Iganga, Kamuli, Jinja, as well as towns and highways. The sites were majorly placed in areas prone to crime, like markets and junctions, as points unavoidable to pass. Details are on page 10 of this report. Chair and honorable members, contributions to crime reduction and public safety. An effective the CCTV system was in meeting the intended goals, such as reducing crime, enhancing public safety, and preventing incidents. Data on crime rate before and after implementation in the monitored areas should be considered to determine its impact. Our response: since implementation of the CCTV system in 2018, 42,427 operation and intelligence-led incidents have been managed. 6,688 cases underwent thorough investigations with the aid of footages got from the CCTV as follows. 1,406 are under trial, 168 were acquittals, 729 were convicted successfully, and then 4,385 were handed over to the investigation officers. The details of the incidents are on pages 19 to 24 of the main report. Honorable Chair and members, compliance with legal, ethical, and privacy standards. A report on the level of compliance with legal, ethical, and privacy standards is required. This includes an evaluation of how the surveillance system adheres to national data protection laws, as well as international privacy standards, particularly regarding the handling of footages. Our response is as follows. Compliance is guided by the following acts of Parliament and attendant regulations. 1, the Data Protection and Privacy Act 2019 and regulations thereunder. 2, the Computer Misuse Act 2022. 3, the Electronic Transactions Act 2011. 4, the Uganda Communications Act 2013. 5, the Penal Code Act, Cap 120, Laws of Uganda. 6, the Standard Operating Procedures for the National Command Center of the Uganda Police Force. However, it should be noted that there is no law guiding the operation of CCTV systems. Hence, a cabinet memo has been drafted for guidance, and hopefully it will result in enactment as a law guiding this subject. Reasons for the cabinet memo are well explained on page 27 of the main and legal considerations. The details of each parameter are in the main report at page 28. Incidents response efficiency. The committee requires a report on the efficiency of incident responses based on footage provided by the CCTV system. This includes evaluating response, coordination with law enforcement, and overall effectiveness in addressing incidents captured on the CCTV system. Response. The response to incidents is categorized as mean time to detect, mean time to acknowledge, mean time to contain, and mean time to recover. The response to receiving the emergency is at 30 seconds, and mean time to respond is at 15 minutes. Details are on pages 29 to 33 of the main report. Generally, The response to real-time monitoring is averaged at 20 minutes because of good coordination with territorial police and field intelligence teams. 4, issues on response on implementation of the CCTV Phase 3 project. Right, Chair and honorable members, it should be noted that the Phase 3 has not been implemented because designs are in final stages and hence the budget is not yet approved. Financial performance. The committee seeks a detailed financial report covering the following: the approved budget for Phase 2, 3, and any supplementary appropriations, 2, released budget and budget variation warrants for the implementation of Phase 3, 3, budget expenditures and analysis of whether they are aligned with the intended scope and timelines. Our response is as follows. There's no approved budget for Phase 3. The approval is expected in the calendar year 2025. Needs assessment. An evaluation of the security requirements for areas targeted by Phase 3 is necessary. This includes an analysis of crime rates in the specific areas identified for CCTV installation, 2, threats, vulnerabilities, and the urgency of security interventions in these areas. Response. Phase 3 of the CCTV project aims at addressing gaps identified in Phase 1 and 2 through the following ways. 1, expanding CCTV coverage to increase camera density and reduce blind spots. 2, onboarding of social cameras. 3, introduction of body-worn cameras. 4, expansion of the mobile event monitoring cameras and command vehicles. 5, enhancing data center capacity to support growing storage and processing needs. 6, extending the network and fiber infrastructure to cover new cities. 7, upgrading existing core regional call centers and establishing new regional call centers. Then modernizing and monitoring centers at police stations with alternative storage solutions and implementing hybrid power grid systems to mitigate power outage challenges. Then implementation of the Security Operating Center, implementing of unmanned aerial surveillance vehicles, expansion of digital mobile radio DMR communication system, and training and capacity building. The details are on pages 44 to 49 of the main report. Chair and members, system design. The committee needs an assessment of the quality and efficiency of the CCTV system design, and this should include camera specs, e.g. resolution, type, and their suitability for the intended environments. 2, placement of cameras to ensure comprehensive coverage of high-risk areas. 3, integration with other security systems, e.g. information transport system, ITMS. Our response, Chair and members, is that the camera specifications are well defined, architecture aligned, and storage cell calculated. The placement of sites is coordinated, oriented, and identified by area operations, police, and intelligence officers. The integration is already catered for in the current system, therefore it will be continuation. Details of the designs are on pages 48 to 54 of the main report. Risk management. A detailed evaluation of the potential risks during installation and operational phases must be provided, and this includes system performance issues and strategies to address them, identification of cybersecurity vulnerabilities, compatibility with existing infrastructure, including power supply, network connectivity, and other technical considerations. Our response is that the risks range from connectivity to system management, which include internal and external attacks. These risks and mitigations have been detailed on pages 55 to 61 of the main report. Installation timelines. Chair and members, the committee seeks to understand whether the installation timelines were adhered to, particularly the delivery and installations of equipment, the completion of installations within the projected timeframes, and any delays encountered during the process and the causes. Our response is that the raised issues are not applicable because the project hasn't commenced. However, from the previous experience, all will be adhered to once the project is approved and budget allocated. Policy on operational costs and crime reduction outcomes. A policy should be in place to evaluate the long-term operational costs of CCTV system. And these include a cost-benefit analysis of the project's effectiveness in reducing crime, sustainable funding models for operation and maintenance expenses, and consideration of whether the system's effectiveness justifies operational costs. Chair and honorable members, our response is that the Uganda Police Force has an ICT policy that gives guidelines on systems evaluation in terms of cost-saving measures, maintenance strategy, and ICT operational costs. These are reviewed from time to time because hence the same applies to the CCTV system. Long-term sustainability. The committee seeks a report on the long-term sustainability of the CCTV project, specifically addressing 1, the system's capacity for future upgrades and scalability, 2, funding mechanisms for ongoing maintenance and operations, and 3, the feasibility of keeping the system operational in the long term. Our response, Honorable Chair and members, is that during the design, scalability is catered for in terms of network and storage. The funding of maintenance has kept improving through supplementary budget allocations, and the system has to keep running because the Uganda Police Force recruited qualified IT and engineers to do maintenance of the system. Only continuous training of technical teams on new upgrades and users on usage of the system is required. That is our submission, Chair and honorable members, and we are ready for engagement on the report as presented. Thank you.